Hey everyone, thanks for watching this video. My name is Steven, and today we're going to show you how to make soju. A traditional two-stage process to brew my makgeolli, an iyangju. And the first step is making a juk. So we're using this rice flour to put together the first stage of sift our rice flour. We're going to be using 1 kilogram of rice flour to make our juk. And the process is a little bit tedious, so I'm going to speed things up a little bit here. With a little less than 1 kilogram of rice flour. Now I'm going to put it in a pot and we're going to make our juk. Okay, so I've got my rice flour in the pot. This recipe calls for heat to medium to high heat on our stove, and we're going to do a lot of stirring. This thickens up, so it'll come out to a pretty thick consistency here, and that's when you know you're done. After that, I'm going to cover it and set it aside and let it cool off to room temperature until the morning. I'm actually going to let this cool overnight. Alright, so while that's cooling off, we're going to prepare our naruk mixture. 70 grams of naruk here. I'm going to add a teaspoon of wine yeast to my mixture as well to help kind of kickstart the process. And then we're going to use the remaining 500 milliliters of water from our recipe. So I'm going to add the water to the mixture here, and adding it now helps to kind of kickstart the process. So it gets all the enzymes and the yeast mixed and flowing together, and it helps kind of awaken our naruk mixture. So I'm adding the water in, and then eventually I'm going to go back to our rice flour mixture. I'm going to add this naruk mixture, combine it with our rice flour once it's cooled down to room temperature, and then we're going to stir it all together. You'll notice there's a alcohol. I've been stirring this for about 20 minutes now, and you can see it's already starting to break down quite a bit. So I'm going to take the mixture here, pour it into my brewing vessel, and because I've already stirred it so much, it pours really pretty easily. I'm trying to get every last drop here, and so we're going to transfer all of this into our brewing vessel, and then we're going to cover it and store it in a cool, dry place for 24 hours. Okay, so the next day we're going to prepare our chapsal rice, and for this recipe we're going to use 3 kilograms of rice. It's typically a 1-to-1 rice to water ratio, and the first step is washing the rice until the water runs clear. Glutinous, sticky rice, and often it's referred to as sweet rice, but you want to make sure you get the right kind. After you've rinsed the rice thoroughly, you want to let it soak for at least a couple hours, and then we're going to set it aside and let it drain for at least 30 minutes. Alright, so let's go back to our juk and take a look at it. This has been about 24 hours later. I'm going to take off the lid, take a peek inside, and give it a quick stir. So when you take off the lid, you'll start to smell the alcohol smell, and we'll give it a stir. You'll notice that it's almost completely liquefied. We're going to come back to this and add our chapsal. Okay, back to our chapsal. After you've let the rice drain for 30 minutes, we're going to steam it in a bamboo steamer. So I'm loading up my trays, and we're going to steam it for about our juk mixture. It's really important to let the rice cool down enough. Otherwise, if it's too hot, it'll kill off the good. Okay, so this is day 15. And we're going to go ahead and bottle our brew. You can see there's some separation. There's a clear
looking at a crazy beat.
Alright, so I ended up doing a second batch, and this is what we ended up with. I've had it in the fridge for a few days to allow it to separate, and but here we go. So it's dripping through. I'm gonna catch my first 2 ounces, and then once that is through, everything. So I've got a little less than 2 liters total, and this is all pure alcohol. I would recommend cutting it with water.